So update, recent update. You might find this interesting. Lunchtime. Come lunchtime, I went to get my lunch, and I happened to strike up a conversation with this Chinese guy. I found out he's Chinese. He looks Korean, but he's one of the cooks where I was buying my lunch at. It's a local Chinese restaurant where I live. So they, as usual, they have the California restrictions. You're not allowed to dine in. Okay, they do, but they do. Even though their place is, it's not it doesn't look as fancy as other places, other restaurants. Their food is quality. Okay, it's absolute quality, and you get your money's worth for living in California. It's quality Chinese food. Okay, it's not greasy. It's not greasy. It tastes good. I can tell that they use the authentic ingredients instead of just like throwing MSG right there. MSG, monosodium glutamate. We're gonna drive for a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you what happened. You might find this interesting. Okay. Found out that he is from southern China. I thought he was from Korea because there was an old lady that used to work there, where I used to get my lunch at, and she happens to be from Cambodia. Formerly known as Kampuchea. Okay, if you're familiar with that, with Cambodian history. So what this gentleman said, was he was living near the beach. Okay, near the beach, and it's quite a good area. But at first, I asked him like, "Hey, what country are you from? Like, what country are you from?" At first, he was hesitant. He's like looking at me. He's like, he was smoking a cigarette. He's like looking at me. He's like, "What the hell is this dude?" And then I asked him again, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm from southern China, southern China." I was like, "Oh, okay, okay." I was like, "You know that lady? I mean, you gotta converse. Like, no, me as an INFJ, do INFJs, like, we can actually, if we really want to manipulate you, okay, we really want to freaking get something out of you, we can actually get it, boom, like that, quick. We can torture you, or we can be nice to you, and we can do whatever the hell. We're like walking lie detectors. That's why I can detect the lies. You know what I'm saying? I'm not buying into the stupid crap that they're freaking selling out there in the media. Because they have a propaganda, they have a freaking agenda, all the time. They push it all the time. They try to make it seem like, they virtue signal, they make it seem like they're doing you a favor, but they're not. They're really not. They make it seem like that. They make it seem like, oh, they're nice and good people, but they're not. It goes with the upbeat, back to you, Sean. And back to CNN. Well, I mean, some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Fox News, CNN, they do that shit. So I was trying to feel the kind of person this person is. So I was kind of like, because I am part Chinese. Okay, I have a little bit of Chinese in me. So I'm part Filipino, I'm part Chinese. If you look at me in real life, you're gonna see I don't look anything like Filipino. I'm more like Chinese. But I was born in the Philippines, and that's that. Before I came in this country. But anyway, what I found was interesting about what he said was by the time I asked him, ask him like, how's the situation in China? Like, how is it right now? Like, are they locked down? Like, what are they doing? Like, what are the people saying? Like, what because I see him on the phone like all the time. I see him like he has a family right there. He has his wife and some of his kids he brought up here in the States, and he's a legal resident out here, right? He's one of the cooks. One of the cooks there. He's cooking authentic Chinese food, southern China food, and it's the main reason why I actually go there very frequently. And what I found that was interesting was this is what he said. Okay, this is his exact words. He says, "Oh, we're actually reopening up. We're reopening. He says we're reopening. I'm like, really? We're reopening? Freaking the freaking mainstream media were making it seem like, oh, there's freaking restrictions. Freaking the freaking China police department are freaking like locking people up. Like freaking people like protesting, like freaking going crazy. Oh, people getting beat up, getting freaking tear gas and all kind. It's like, man, that is like. He's also, you know, familiar with the damn media and shit. And it says it's the same fucking game and shit, man. Motherfucking media in China is the same motherfucking shit. And he says like the main series is mostly like fucking propaganda, like fucking CNN and Fox News and shit like that. So this dude is awake. he knows what the fuck is going on and shit. So another thing he said was, you know, was what I found this interesting. He says they did it with SARS. He said they did it with SARS. It says like right around April, like years ago, it was like around April. He says they locked the whole thing down too. He says it just wasn't published in the news. It didn't just say it in the freaking CNN and Fox News in the States. That's why you don't know about it. So I'm like, damn, you know, freaking these motherfuckers, media, they're hiding shit, you know. So in my mind, I'm like, man, freaking after what this guy said about China, you know, how relaxed they are in China right now. You know, he says they're actually reopening and it's freaking, you know, it's fucking false shit. The shit they're saying in the media about China. Okay. So, and this guy is talking to his family, like one of his family members living there in China, and we're up here in freaking California. I'm here in California, freaking, you know, we're freaking fixing to get locked down again. And what's weird, what I told you was weird was, if they are locking us up down again, then why are they motherfucking opening the schools? Why are they encouraging kids to go to schools here soon in July? I wonder why. It's because of the fucking testing, contact tracing, and then they fucking some of the kids will test positive and they'll fucking get them. Watch what's gonna happen. You know. Already predictable as shit. Okay. The other thing I found interesting about this guy was his opinion, you know, and this is where I was getting at my INFJ questions. You know, freaking INFJ can get along with you like this. Like if I wanted something out of you, I can actually freaking get it and shit. You know, we get that freaking. Once we hone our freaking social skills, we're freaking unstoppable. You see what I'm saying? It's nothing to brag about. It's not that I'm bragging or nothing like that. But you know, we can get, you know, INFJs can get freaking intimate with you like quickly. That's why they call us freaking natural counselors and shit. We can actually freaking find you out, like what you're good at, what you're weak at, okay, your strengths, your weaknesses, your social skills, your freaking people skills, what you're really good at, you know, what we can exploit out of you, or what we can help you with, you know. We're like freaking natural freaking lie detectors, and we're like natural counselors. Like I can get to know you by asking simple questions. Like I can extrapolate a lot of data, a lot of factual data out of you and shit. I can paint, you know, a freaking picture of who you are by asking simple questions. So the other part that I found was what I found was interesting was this part, okay? His opinion on United States. His opinion on the United States, and you know, I assume that he's on that communist motherfucking propaganda in China. and I can tell that this guy is, you know, half of his foot is capitalism, and half of his foot is communism. Okay, here's why. Here's why. Okay, so I asked him that, you know, so you know, what are they? What other things are they? Well, actually, before I asked that, you know, that question, I told him, like, you know, when he said that they were opening up in Wuhan, and then I was like, you know, how come right here in the States we're not reopening up, we're actually freaking going on a motherfucking second wave, going on a second wave, and like freaking kids are told to go to school, but you know, the stores are becoming freaking strict and freaking telling us to put our mask on, like blah blah blah, this and that. But he was like, his is his response. He was like, it's like, well, you know, the United States is kind of like, he's like, you know, people here, like, you know, they want to celebrate shit, like, you know, they want to celebrate their holidays, like, you know, July 4th and shit like that is coming up, and it says, you know, the beach, like in California, he mentioned the beaches, because he was like, oh, I live like close to the beach, and people don't. He says people don't want to comply, like blah blah blah, like this and that, because. And then I got the feeling that like the reason why he's saying that, you know, because the reason why he's saying that, he grew up in communist China, and it is extremely authoritarian, and the way I see it is what he's saying was you know, we're not used to, you know, we're not used to the motherfucking restrictions like this, and then boom, all of a sudden they fucking threw it at our faces and shit. And you know, he was actually giving us empathy and shit, you know, even if it's kind of like he sounds like he's being sarcastic and shit. Like, you know, he's like, you know, oh, it's just gonna be like this, and he's like, you know, it's gonna go away. This shit is gonna go away. He says, well, at least that's my, you know, experience in China, like blah blah blah. So you know, it was very candid. This guy was very candid, and when you look at him, like he doesn't really look like he can speak fucking Chinese. I mean, English well, but he was, you know, he was fucking, he was very fluent. And he even has a little bit of the California accent going on, you know. He doesn't have a southern accent, you know, like no twang. You know what I'm saying? But I fucking I went the reason why I know about those fucking accents is because first time I moved to the States is I was in Tennessee, okay. Then joined the military, I fucking all over the place, motherfucking Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, wherever the hell, you know. They threw me out and shit. And so, you know, it's a little, you know, it's a little interesting, my experience right there, and you know, giving you a little bit of the INFJ state of mind, and you know, how I can understand like people and shit. You know, like the way I understand people is that way, like their mannerisms, like look at what they say, not, I mean, look at what they do, not just what they say, okay? Because and also the way they say things, okay? If they're being authentic, you know, like what you're gonna take out of that conversation as a fact or fiction. Because you know, some people they will tend to get flowery, you know, they'll tend to get they tend to add some shit in their conversations that are not factual. You know, so I noticed those things too. Like that's why I told you the things that you missed, that you might have missed in the conversation. I just covered for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. You know, walking lie detectors. So my assessment of that guy, you know, I would say he was authentic. It was authentic. He's, you know, I mean, he's working right there as a cook, right? Because so if he says some bullshit to me as a customer, you know, there is an incentive for him, like that I wouldn't go back. You know, I would just freaking like, oh, you know, oh, I'm just not gonna fucking comply anymore. I'm just gonna fucking, I'm not gonna go to some other. I'm just gonna go to other fucking restaurant. I'm just not gonna fucking buy your bullshit. You know, I can just do that. You know what I'm saying? But this guy, you know, so this guy's authentic. He's you know, he's a real G. Okay, he's an OG. He's like older than me too. He's probably around his 40s or 50s or some shit. And he has like 3 or 4 kids. You know. Well, I just want to bring that up before I end this video. So, you know, it's interesting the way how the media contradicts, okay, what is really happening in real life, and they have us all believing out here that, you know, motherfucking China is like some fucking extreme freaking authoritarian kind of shit that people don't have any fucking say or some shit, huh? Like another thing too, like why would they let, okay, if China is extremely communist and extremely authoritarian, why would they let fucking, why would they let people like do a protest and shit? You see what I'm saying? It's that's only for fucking TV or some shit like that. Like that's bullshit, man. It's BS. You know, we can do it here in our country, in the States, because that's part of our right. Okay. So even if the motherfucking protests out here are freaking fake, you know, we still, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are real, some of them are fake, but we still have the authority to do such things, right? And that's it for this video. Peace out.